¿Ya estando la música ya empieza?
I love Micheladas.
What's up, man?
Welcome, everybody. I Love Micheladas show. We have with us Connor today from Indie Brewing.
Dude, what an honor to be invited into your living room. This is such an honor.
The studio.
Excuse me. I didn't know there was like any illusions.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. This, just it keeps everything cool and chill.
Definitely, yeah.
Like
I think hanging out in your living room.
Yeah.
Literally. Studio. Excuse
me.
We
had Zach Brooks from Smorgasburg.
Nice.
Last week.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, like the living room is vibe because it's cool because like it makes everybody like calm, like
totally.
It's like more inviting.
Exactly. Like this can be very like intimidating.
Yeah.
I had some nerves, I was like, oh man,
But now we're here. We're just chilling in my house.
We're just chilling.
About to have a beer.
About to have a Michi.
And I'm super excited about this beer. You said that you guys just brewed this?
We canned this maybe like a week or two ago. This is
oh my God.
Whose lime is it anyway?
Whose lime is it anyway?
Yeah. That's the question. We're still trying to figure that out.
That's hilarious.
So it's a collaboration with Carl Strauss, but it is a key lime pie inspired hazy IPA. So it has lime puree in there and vanilla beans, Madagascar vanilla beans. So it's kind of like a dessert.
Wow.
Almost, which is kind of like neckbeardy of me to say, but
dude,
yeah,
neckbeardy.
But yeah, it's
wow. That lime really comes through. It is like key lime pie a little bit.
It does, yeah. And that vanilla will finish it off a little bit. So I thought that'd be interesting to mix with your Michelada mix.
Wow, how'd you guys come up with the name?
Whose lime is it anyways? I think it was just a play on whose line is it anyways. Yeah.
Well, the Drew Carey or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh man, that was such a good show. We grew up on that. So.
Yeah, we definitely did. Yeah, we're the same age.
Yeah, totally. We just found that out. We're both 32.
32.
I don't know if you wanted to tell people that, but
everybody knows too much about me already.
All right.
My sister's out podcast, so
nice.
People know way more about me than I know about myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's
talk
you
about
like
me.
listen to her podcast to figure out
to figure out how they
your
feel.
own life.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
My wife will be like, "Hey, your sister's talking about this," and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
You'll be like, "Sister."
Nah, dude.
Much.
So let's try it out.
Yeah.
This is the same mix that you guys carry at Indie.
Yeah.
Anybody watching this can go to Indie Brewing.
At Indie Brew Co. We do the brown Michelada mix with our Pacific Coast Highway, which is more of a traditional Michelada flavor. But we'll mix it with anything.
The thing I like about this show is that people have brought on really dope beers.
I noticed that.
Like Javi brought
the Saison.
Yeah, the Saison.
Yeah.
And then we've had like IPAs.
Yeah, the Dead Guy Ale from Rogue. That was dope.
Yeah.
And then obviously
the Dead Guy was
some
dope.
indie I've seen on here before too. So.
Dude, Indie's always my choice.
Thank you, man.
Del Rey is one of my favorite beers.
Yeah.
I always tell people, and I feel like almost like other beers suffer for it in terms of like my choice because I feel like now I compare all IPAs to it.
Yeah. Because selfishly, I'm totally fine with that.
But that's like my go-to.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Now.
Yeah,
cheers.
that's always cheers. Yeah, I think that works really well.
Super limey. I like
nice. Yeah, Del Rey's my go-to as well. When people ask me what my favorite beer is, it's Del Rey. Always.
Yeah.
No matter what beers we put out, usually it's Del Rey. I can always go back to it.
It's just like drinkability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Really well balanced.
How did you get into the beer game? Like, what's
my story? So I graduated college 2009, knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And my senior year of college, I kind of dialed in on a brewery because I drank a lot of beer. And I was like hanging out in my living room with friends, being like, "What should I do with my life?" Beer.
Think.
And then when you say I want to start a brewery out loud to your friends, everybody's like, "Yeah."
What year was this?
This was 2008.
So it was like very early in the brewery scene.
It was, and there was actually really nothing here in Los Angeles at that point. The first brewery was Craftsman had been around, but that's not LA proper. Eagle Rock in 2009, December 2009. They were the first ones to really get going. So that wasn't really necessarily like I was seeing LA in that light. I was at Colgate University in Central New York, so it was pretty rural. And I wasn't necessarily thinking about coming back to LA. I'm from LA, born in the Valley.
The Valley kid.
Yeah, Valley kid, born and raised.
Well, real quick before we move from the Valley.
Yeah.
What's your if I were to visit your old hood, what would you recommend I eat?
Oh, honestly, my favorite restaurant is Sagebrush Cantina.
Yeah?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not their food; it's their chicken salsa. And if I were on a deserted island for the rest of my life, the only food I would ever need was chips and salsa.
Yeah?
So yeah, but I think it's just amazing. Yeah, and the vibe there is really cool.
We actually brought some chips and salsa. Can we get let's get some
Nice.
chips and salsa on here too?
Yeah, we brought some Tijuana Freddy's.
Who's a Smorgasburg alumni there?
Definitely. Yeah, and he pops up at the brewery every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you're university.
Okay. Yeah, so I graduated knowing I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Kind of was setting out on that track. And
Thank you, Chris.
thank you so much. I graduated college. I was home for that summer. I moved home for that summer, but I was really trying to figure out how I was going to brew beer. And then I also grew up snowboarding a lot, but I played baseball full time, so I didn't get as much snowboarding in as I wanted to as a kid, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to snowboard and I'm going to brew beer. So,
Dude, you're designing your life.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, no, really.
It's kind of been a meandering path, but it's been fun for sure. There's been a lot of excitement.
So you were like, I want to snowboard and drink beer for the rest of my life. I'm gonna open up a brewery.
That's kind of what I was angling for. Yeah, I guess when you put it that way.
And then what were the steps to like get there?
So learning how to brew. That was the first thing. Understanding the product. I was terrible, but I brewed a few times in college, and then when I moved to Park City, Utah, that was my next step after college. It's where I found myself with the snowboarding and beer. I was working at a restaurant and I met our head brewer now, James.
Oh.
And we linked up and we started homebrewing together every week for 2 years, dialing in basically the beers that we're producing now.
What were you doing in Utah?
I was a ski bum.
Really?
Brewing beer, yeah. So I worked as a waiter at a brew pub called Red Rock Brewing in Park City, Utah. I worked as a lift operator at Deer Valley Ski Resort. I worked at a ski shop selling skis and helmets and goggles and jackets and all sorts of ski related stuff. And
You're just doing whatever you need to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I graduated with a 5-year plan that I was like, I wanted that brewery. So my first step was learning the product, figuring out what beer was, because you pick up a can of beer and it's just a liquid in your hand. You don't really know what goes into it.
It's a finished product.
It's a finished product, yeah. And like anything, like your Michelada mix, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to get that product to the shelf. And so I knew that was the most important thing, is understanding the product that I really wanted to go into and sell. Plus I love drinking it, so that was I get to drink my own product, which it wasn't good product, so that didn't work out. Once I met James, we linked up. He was like definitely the brewer of mine, and he absorbed everything incredibly fast. So I realized that he was really the brewer, and I was a little bit more on the social side and business front-facing, I would say.
The plan.
Yeah. So then after that, I moved back to LA, and I met Kevin through 6 Degrees of Separation of Kevin Bacon. Same thing with Morgan. We all got together, started writing a business plan.
What do you mean 6 degrees of separation?
So Kevin, I met through, my dad works in television. He was a investigative journalist and also does voiceover work. So his agent's wife's brother was Kevin's childhood best friend growing up. And I was having dinner with my dad's agent, with my dad, and he was like, I know somebody that wants to start a brewery. And you hear that
you're
a
like,
lot.
I have a brewery plan.
Well, yeah, I was doing the same thing. And
you're just pitching it.
We were just talking about it, and Kevin and I met up for a beer at Father's office in Culver City.
Nice.
And
you remember what beer?
What beer did I drink? I don't remember.
Do you consider yourself a beer snob?
I wouldn't consider myself a beer snob. No.
But you just like you know what you like.
Yeah, I love beer, and my philosophy with beer is that there's no wrong beer and there's no wrong way to drink a beer. So if your beer is, Modelo, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And if you want to drink a frosted mug out of the freezer, dope, go for it. Those aren't my personal preferences, but who am I to say that that shouldn't be your thing, So that's more my approach to beers. I think beer is more of an every person's drink, and it traditionally has been.
Beers for the people.
Beers for the people, and I think that's actually Eagle Rock's motto, beer for the people. It's the oldest beverage. It's one of the oldest beverages in the world. It's been around for 10,000 years. Civilization is literally built on the foundation of beer. Yeah. And so I think it should be accessible to everybody, and that's just kind of where I am. I respect really high quality beer, but your choice is your choice.
I'm in my biggest thing is about drinkability,
Yeah.
right? Like drinkability.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's what we really pride ourselves on, is really high quality, full flavored beers that are drinkable.
Yeah.
Like IPA Del Rey, and yeah.
That's why I love IPA Del Rey
Yeah.
so much. It's so drinkable. I actually had a keg for my birthday.
I remember that.
We didn't kill it. We like barely scratched it, but you know, I could
That's
say
ambitious. Yeah. 140 pints in a half barrel. But at least you could then go around, turn around and sell it at Smorg.
No. I can say I had a keg.
Yeah. Yeah, doing keg stands.
Yeah. IPA.
IPA.
So then how did it go
Drink
from like the meeting Kevin and meeting your partners to like making it happen? What's that process?
So building the business plan and just thinking through every
scenario.
And then when you think through every scenario, then there's 3 more scenarios you didn't think about, but trying to think about exactly how you want to take your idea and how that translates into a physical space and physical business. So writing out that business plan is really important for laying that groundwork and foundation. And we all had the same vision of what we wanted Indie to be, which is kind of that, you know, every person's brewery. Yeah. We want you to know that you're in a brewery. We want you to feel excited about beer and the process and all the stainless tanks, and you might not know what they are, but they're there, and you can tell that the product's made with love and it's made right there, and you know, it's 3 feet from, you know, the fermenter to the tap where you're drinking it. So
how much of the decoration, I don't want to just take it the wrong way, I want to take it a good way. How much of the decoration and the look of the place is kind of was guided by the budget?
100%.
It's very DIY look. So like that's kind of like is it like very purposeful, or is it just like that's what the budget was and we made it?
100%. That's what the budget was. Yeah, that's 100%.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, we have not bought any of the furniture except for the bar stools, and those were the cheapest ones we could get from Uline. Which we liked them too because they were like the shop stools from high school or whatever. So they fit the theme, but. It was the tap room's 100% hand built.
And you guys build that like yourselves, or
Morgan? Yeah, Morgan's very good with wood. So yeah.
And then what about like the beer? How did you guys? What's the process of getting the beer? Like, let's take IPA Del Rey, because I think, you know, obviously I keep talking about it.
Yeah.
What was the process of like? How do you come up with a beer? How do you kind of make a beer?
Yeah.
And is it like beer right by committee? Is it just one person who like samples it and you guys all agree, or like?
Yeah, I would say that process can be kind of an evolution. So early on in the process, it was definitely more of a committee, what we thought would be our best foot forward to start with.
What was the first beer you guys started with?
We brewed 7th Street Saison, Porter of Los Angeles, and Eastside XPA. And they were all session beers. They were all under 5%. We thought that was going to be our niche. We thought, you know, under 5% beers would be a really, you know, hot trend. And they're not. They're definitely not. About, you know, it took a while to ramp up production, but I would say within 5 months we brewed IPA Del Rey, and then
really,
that was like our 4th beer. And instantly, we sold 13 half barrels to one account in the first month.
What account?
Birds in what is that? West Hollywood. It's not West Hollywood. I guess it's West Hollywood, Los Feliz area.
Birds?
Yeah, right next to UCB Theater on Franklin.
Yeah.
It was their rotating IPA handle for the month, and it just turned, and we're like, all right.
Now I know who.
Yeah. So this is what works. Yeah. And then since then, we basically that and Pacific Kolsch Highway. Kolsch came really shortly after that, and
I think that was the first beer I tried from you guys. Pacific Kolsch Highway.
Probably, yeah. That was the same year. That was around the same time.
You guys donated a keg to a friend's fundraiser that we did, like a Halloween fundraiser.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And like I had that Micheladas there, so they brought the keg. We tapped it in. It was really good.
Yeah.
And then when we redid the menu for Smorgasburg, you know, like every New Year's, I like to kind of like blank it out.
Yeah.
And then I went to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how I found you guys.
So I think Kevin actually, because he had seen your mix at Ramirez, and we were just trying to open up Sundays to the public because we were closed. We had weird hours when we first opened, and so we were opening Sundays, and we thought it was going to be like a brunch and Michelada kind of crap.
Oh, that's right.
So that's what we're angling for. So when we've opened our Sundays, we started with breakfast tacos and Micheladas.
Who's in the tacos?
Oh man, I don't remember. Yeah, but the tacos didn't work out. But the Michis never left the menu.
Yeah.
They've been a number, like in the top 5 sellers for like what, 3+ years now.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I was like, all right, I want to get more local beer, I reached out to Kevin.
Definitely.
And I was like, hey, and then Kevin actually introduced me then to a bunch of other breweries. And then we kind of like redid the menu based around all the local breweries, and because before we were doing different beers.
Yeah.
And now we have a more like local scene.
Yeah, your beer now is like.
I'm really proud of my beer menu.
Yeah,
I feel like no one talks about the beer menu, but like I feel like it's a very respectable menu.
Well, I think there's so many other amazing things you guys are doing that it's easy to get lost. So,
but we have Del Rey. All right, so then how do you guys come up with the flavor?
The flavors, that's mostly James, I would say. It's mostly our brew team coming up with the flavor profiles and what they want to brew based on the style that we've already kind of set forward, which is high quality, flavorful beer that's really well balanced and meant for everyday drinking. That's kind of just the brew philosophy, and from there we more or less let him have the reins. Every once in a while we'll have an idea and be like, hey, let's do this, let's try this, but for the most part we let him.
What's it like owning a brewery? Is it like from, because when you open it, you kind of like you're living a budget, and like how have you guys been developing it and growing it?
I mean, the growth has been great. I mean, it's awesome having a brewery. At the same time, it's like
it's like any other business.
It's extremely stressful and capital intensive, and it's a day-to-day challenge.
That's what I hear.
For sure, but that's any business though.
Yeah, seriously.
The issue, like the hard part with beer, is that it's so capital intensive. All of your startup capital, you need a ton of stainless steel. And then every time you brew beer, you need thousands of pounds of grain and
because you need to hops. You can't just like, it's not like it's different in a restaurant, because in a restaurant you can buy the ingredients per the week. Whereas how far out are you making beer out for?
So a batch takes about 15 days to turn around, depending on the style.
That's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks essentially is a good time frame.
And then the inventory, how long are you holding the inventory for?
Right now we're not brewing fast enough to even hold an inventory.
Oh shit!
So especially Del Rey and Kolsch, those beers are making up 70% of our volume, and whenever we have any extra, it's gone. It's out of the market and it's already sold. So where we are right now is trying to ramp up that production so that we can try to keep growing those brands instead of, like we literally have stopped going into restaurants and trying to sell those brands.
Really?
Because we're at a capacity issue right now. We're fixing. We're getting 2 more tanks at the end of this month, so we'll be able to ramp that up a little bit. But so good problem. Great problem.
Great problem to have.
Yeah, definitely.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What other breweries do you recommend? Like, where do you drink when you're not drinking Del Rey?
I only drink Del Rey, I'll start with. But there's a couple of breweries that I really love, like Eagle Rock, and I love Smock City.
What's your philosophy of beer? Like, how do you, where did you decide? I know you said like drinkability for the people, but like, how did you land on that? I've been having this conversation a lot with people, where I feel like, and I hope you don't get offended by nothing I say.
Yeah, no worries.
But I feel like there's a lot of volume and like a lot of chatter, and like all the attention is at the ends.
Right.
Like super hoppy.
Right.
Or like super dark stouts.
Yeah.
Or like super sours, and that's where all the attention is. But where the people are, like what they're actually drinking,
right,
is in drinkability.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Like is in the Del Rey.
Definitely.
Or like the Kolsch.
Right.
So like.
Yeah. So. I guess, sorry, if you want to like restate.
No. Yeah, so I was gonna say like, what, like, did you guys ever consider, like, because like during that time that you guys opened, I mean, everybody was talking about like super hoppy IPAs, right? Like it was somewhat like, not like brave, right? Because that's like such like overused word, but like to open up a brewery and be like, no, we're gonna do like medium beers. Yeah, sessions. You were like way ahead of the curve there.
And we were going to package in 16-ounce cans before that became.
Really?
That was in our business plan written in 2013. 16-ounce.
How did you arrive at that?
Honestly, because it's what I like to drink. We brew what we like to drink, and the 16-ounce cans was a format that I really liked. I think Dale's Pale Ale was one of the only brands out there doing it at the time, and I just liked the feel of it in my hands.
Yeah.
I've always liked well-balanced breweries, so when I was first getting into beer, breweries like I was in upstate New York, so Saranac, they had a wide range of beers from IPAs to stouts to porters to saisons, so I could try like a breadth of styles, and they were all really well brewed, well balanced, flavorful, tasty. Also New Belgium, Deschutes, those kind of breweries were what inspired me. I like drinking more than one beer at the time. Yeah. So I liked drinking, like producing that style.
Where you can have like 5 different beers and not get full.
Yeah,
that's always my issue with like the super hoppy or like the super strong stouts, where it's like you have one and I quickly want to switch over to like
definitely
super low,
like lager.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, I still Del Rey is number 1, but Kolsch and our lagers are always up there as well.
I have this not issue, but like I have this thing where people always come up to the bar.
Yeah.
And so I'll have a beer. How do you reply? Do you guys get that, or do you guys get a different clientele because you're a brewery?
I think it's different.
Yeah.
Because we are a brewery, people come in there expecting to have to choose from beers, and that's all we provide.
Yeah.
So those are our only options. We'll get the occasional person that comes in asking for like a rum and coke.
Really?
Yeah, and you're like, oh shoot, you missed the memo.
It's a brewery.
Yeah, this is a brewery.
No, but I mean, like, how do you, like, someone who's just like, I'll have a beer.
Yeah.
Like, how do you reply to that?
I would usually start with, what kind of beer do you like? Do you like a light beer? Do you like a hoppy beer? Do you?
And they're like
dark beer.
Because and they'll reply with like, it's just like a beer. I don't know. I don't know.
I like an ale. It's like, okay, well,
yeah.
We brew mostly ales, and they're all totally different. I usually light, dark, hoppy, sweet. Like just the vague general terms, and try to dial in. Do they drink domestic lagers? Is that where I should start? Do they drink Blue Moon? Should I steer them towards like a saison or a hefeweizen or a wit? Do they drink stouts? Do I even have a stout on draft?
Yeah. So like someone who likes Stellas. What do you give them?
Kolsch.
Kolsch?
Yeah. I feel like light beers, Kolsch is the first step, and then we generally have at least 1 or 2 lagers on as well.
Do you try to push people to try other things, like personally? Like,
I think if people are open to it, but I don't personally have an agenda where I'm like, you should try all of these things. That doesn't work. That's not inviting. People get turned off by that, I think.
I kind of do try to get people on it. Like when people are like, beer, I'm like, I had the same thing. I go to the questions where I'm like, well, what do you usually drink?
Yeah.
And then we're like, I'll drink like a Stella.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, try this. And I'll give them 3. Mm-hmm. And I usually have them try Del Rey. I'll have them try like the mango hef by Garage.
Yeah.
And then, actually, no, I'll give them 4. I'll have a Del Rey, mango hef, cucumber sour by Border X, and Calidad, which is just a
lager.
A lager.
Yeah.
And they'll try them, but I'll have them first try the IPA.
Yeah.
And then I'll have them try the sour, then the mango, and then the lager.
Okay.
And then usually by the time they get to the lager, they've almost always already chosen one of the first 3.
Right.
Or like
palate's probably pretty wrecked.
I don't know. To me, it's more like people haven't tried them, and people don't know that beer can taste like other things. Because even like Corona, like I hate Corona. Right, like I feel like Corona. 1, it gives me a headache.
Yeah.
2, it tastes like super skunky, super bitter, and I've always felt like people always go what they grew up with in terms of beer. Like it's one of the what
people you're comfortable with. I think that's natural of humans.
Yeah, everything. I mean, I had this long ass conversation with Zach last week about like Tito's tacos, right? Like about like how you grew up with it and then it become a thing, but you grew up with something. One of my favorite tacos in LA is Taurinos.
Okay.
Which is not generally considered to be all that good, but I love it because I grew up with it.
It's special to you.
It's special to me. Exactly. So people come up, but I'm like, all right, have you tried other beers? They're like, I'm scared, and I feel like that scaredness comes from this like weird craft culture where it's like ultra hoppy is good, ultra dark is good.
I agree.
So like people haven't tried these medium hop, citrusy IPAs or like,
I think that's where it's easier for us though, is people walk in my door already willing to do that.
That's true.
I don't have to push it on them because for the most part they want to do that if that's why they're there,
That's true.
And if they're there just to have a couple beers with friends, then that's what they're doing too. But I think it's less of a wall for us to break down because like I said, we only have one product. So people come in expecting that they will probably try some new stuff. Yeah.
Have you seen that difference in clientele from when you started to now? What's been kind of like
I wouldn't say so.
The change in there's no like.
No, our clientele is very Boyle Heights, East LA centric and focused, and that's what it always has been. So
a lot of the distributors, a lot of the other beer distributors. Every time I talk to them, A's guys with the Mission when they were there.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, they were all like, I have your Michelada mix all the time at Indy.
Yeah. That was fun because one, it's nice to like Budweiser money. Like, we'll take that. But two, it's like it gave them a place to drink.
Yeah, hang out.
They would just like kind of like be out on the corner like chugging beers, and now they had like a place to come and hang out, and they were dope.
Yeah.
Miss them. Fortunately with the whole Constellation going over to Reyes, that really
it really but the whole
changed the dynamic of that company.
But the whole dynamic of LA is changing in terms of beers. What are the things that you're most excited about in terms of the beer scene in LA?
Just how good it's become. There's a lot of quality beer in Los Angeles now.
A lot.
And considering the beer scene is less than 10 years old, I think that's really impressive.
Yeah.
How many high quality breweries there are producing excellent beers.
Recommend like a couple breweries to me. Other than Indy, obviously.
Yeah, other than Indy, Dry River, I love them.
Dry River's super
for
dope.
Sours, plus they're neighbors and they're just great people. I really love Eagle Rock. Also fantastic people. I've known them since right before they actually opened their brewery. Smog City's making really excellent beers as well.
Smog City's making great beers.
Yeah. Who else would I? It's hard because I mostly drink Indy, but yeah. I mean, there's so many good producers now.
Have you had a LA Works LA Phil?
I love LA Works too. Yeah. I haven't had that beer specifically, but I was down there on Sunday for Tijuana Freddy's.
Oh, nice. I really love their LA Phil.
Nice.
We had Cynthia on the show a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
she does marketing for the LA Philharmonic, and she told me about like kind of. But it's funny because I told her that I had the beer before I knew it had anything to do with like the actual. I thought it was just like like a lot of breweries like kind of like have puns or like they'll do these things and they're not like actual affiliates.
Yeah.
And then I found
that juicy double. You can actually do that with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Well, what you call it?
Find that juicy double.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I had that LA Phil and I assumed it was like a pun.
Yeah.
And then she told me about the whole story about like it's a real thing.
Nice.
It's like a great beer.
That's dope. It's a lager?
No, it's a brewed IPA.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are great. That's a style that unfortunately didn't really get the light of day, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I feel like it was kind of a flash in the pan last year.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it was like a big. Well, that beer. Apparently it was very successful.
Yeah.
That's
a great style. It's like a hoppy lager.
Yeah. Have you had a Latitude 33?
I have. Yeah.
That beer is super dope too.
The blood orange.
All of them. All of them. Like they've really like drawn out a lot of like the flavors I personally don't like.
Nice.
And like kept in the ones I do. So I don't know.
That's a personal choice. Totally. That's the great thing about the beer industry is there's so
much exploring you can do, and there's so many great breweries out there that
I've been telling people that the brewery scene is very much like a restaurant scene because I feel like people in their minds. To people's mind, beers are like a thing that you find everywhere, right? Like you find liquors, like so, like people's perception of beer is like Modelo.
Yeah.
Where like, okay, I want to have this beer. I want to find the beer that I can then have everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not really how it is now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like beer is all about never trying the same beer twice.
It's like saying like I really like Guelaguetza. I'm gonna go to every restaurant or ask for their mole.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's like, oh, that's not really how it works. Yeah. Right? Like
everybody does different. They're not like the same across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's totally the same with beer, and I think that's part of the fun of the food industry or the beer industry is that there is that that big world that you can explore. And
yeah, but I mean, the more breweries I talk to, like, and the more convinced I am that like breweries, like you guys are restaurateurs by a different name.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's such a cool community too, and I see that in the chef community and restaurant community where everybody's really just trying to help each other out to, like, with the daily grind, prop all the boats, lift all the boats. So yeah, they're really great industries.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming by, man.
Thanks so much for having me. Really
thanks for coming by.
Again, it's an honor to be here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And keep making more beer.
I will. Thank you.